Okay, welcome back. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and skip on to number 15. And right now I know that this is equal to 113 because those are vertical angles. And then this angle is 67 because if you take 113 and subtract from 180, you get 67. And which, if this one's 67, then this one here is 67 because those two are vertical angles. And this one, I believe I'm reading it as 94. If it's 94, then this one's 86. If it's 84, which I cannot honestly read it, then it's 96. But you get the idea. I have this as 9, and so this is an 86. And if you add those 86 plus 67, you're going to get an answer that's not equal to 22. So it's not going to be this one here. And then I have this one here as being 88, which would mean if you subtract it from 180, because this is a straight line here, then you get 92 as this one here, and 92 plus 67 is 159. Okay, somewhere my math is off, but I know that this, anyway, this is the one. Okay, we may go ahead and just skip that one, but that is the right angle. Okay, which of the segments are skew? A, B, and GF. This one and this one are actually parallel, so they're not skew. CF, let's see, CF and AH, those are actually parallel too, so they are not skew. FG and GH, FG and GH, okay, they are not skew because the definition of skew lines are two lines that are not parallel and will never touch, and just the fact that they both have G as an intersection means they do touch. So GD, which is this one here, and EF, two lines that are not parallel. Obviously they're not facing the same way. This one's going this way, this one's going this way, and they will never touch because they're not even in the same planes. So that one is obviously the right answer. Which special segment of a triangle best describes XW? Okay, so it wants to know what this could be, and we already know that this angle is equal to this angle. So we have an angle bisector. Angle bisector. It cuts the angle in half, which means we have B, an angle bisector. Okay, these two lines are parallel. Which statement is true? Well, let's look at A. Angle 1 and angle 7. Well, if I know that these two lines are parallel, then angle 1 and angle 7 are alternate exterior. So that part is true. And angle 3 and angle 5. If those two lines are parallel, then these two are alternate interior, which makes them equal. So statement A works because both parts of the statement works. Now let's see if we can move on. Okay, if AC is parallel to DF and CBE, that's this angle here, is 54 degrees, what's the measure of ABE? So I want to know this one here. Well, this is a straight line, so the very fact that they're parallel means nothing. ABE makes a straight line with CBE, so I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract 54 degrees, which will give me 6. That's now going to be 7, so 2 and 1, 126 degrees. Okay, easy enough. The loading ramp at the warehouse, we did this one as a power-up. Remember that the slope was what they're wanting, and slope is rise over run. Well, the ramp rises 7 feet, and the run is its horizontal distance, which is 24 feet. So it's going to be 7 over 24, which is B. Which equation represents the line that passes through the point 3, 1 and is perpendicular to the graph of x plus 4y equals 10? Okay, and on this test, they give you this in AX plus BY equals C format. Okay, and before in the past, we always changed it back over to y equals mx plus b, but we're going to go ahead and keep it as x plus 4y equals 10, and I want you to remember this, that slope in this format is always going to be negative a over b. So the slope in this, there's nothing in front of the x, we're going to put a 1 there. Our slope is going to be negative 1 over 4, negative a over b. Okay, so that is our slope. This is our slope. Okay, and it wants it perpendicular. If you remember correctly, to be perpendicular, we have to, if it's negative, we have to make a positive, and we have to flip the fraction, which means we now have positive 4 over 1, which is the same thing as positive 4. Okay, now to put it back into perspective, okay, this is now going to be the A, and this is now going to be the B, because all of these are in AX plus BY equals C format. So our slope is now going to be positive 4 over 1. So I'm going to have a positive 4x plus a 1y. Okay, notice that they're both positive, equals whatever. Okay, I'm not even worried about that right now because I just need to find one that has a positive 4 and a positive 1. And this right here is the only one. Positive 4 and a positive 1. And if it doesn't show, if you know that if a variable is by itself, then there's really a positive 1 in front of it. So the answer here is C. Okay? We're going to do a couple more of those. Again, this is in AX plus BY format. Rather BY equals C format. So our slope is going to be negative A over B, which means it's going to be negative 3 over negative 2, because our B is negative 2. It's whatever sign is in front of it. So if it's subtraction, it's going to be negative, which means our slope here is really 3 over 2. Okay, that's the slope of this line right here. All right, we want one that's perpendicular. So again, we're going to flip it. Our new slope, this is positive, so we're going to make it negative, and we're going to flip the fraction. So we have 2 over 3. And the 2 is going to take the place of our A, and the 3 is going to take the place of our B. So when we get ready to write it down, we're going to have 2x and 3y equals whatever. And in order to make our slope negative, we're either going to have the negative in front of the 2 or the negative in front of the 3. Okay, notice that in none of these up here is the x negative. Okay, so if the x is not negative, then the y has to be negative. So we have 2x minus 3y. 2x minus 3y. The only answer that has a 2x minus a 3y is A. Okay, I know that's a little bit confusing, but you're just going to have to remember that if we have a line that's in AX plus BY equals C format, then the slope is negative A over B. Okay, I think we have one more. Nope, this is different. Okay, it wants to know the equation of the line that contains KL. So this line here. Alright, the best way to find that is I'm going to look for the slope first. Slope is rise over run. Okay, and from K to L, I know that my rise is going to be, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My rise is 11. Okay, my run is actually negative 2, okay? Because I'm going from K to L, I'm actually going backwards. Negative 2, okay? And if you'll notice, the line goes down. So it's going to be a negative. Now, we want to see a negative 11 over 2 as the slope, which means it's in front of the x. Okay, this is our slope, and it's going to be in front of the x. So this one's positive 2 over 11. This one's positive 11 over 2. This one's negative 2 over 11. This one right here, we have negative 11 over 2. So the answer is D, negative 11 over 2. And then the rest of it we could have figured out by filling in the points, but there was really no need to. What is the slope of a line parallel to the graph? Okay, so again, we have ax plus by equals c. And this one says parallel, so it's going to have the same slope. So we don't have to worry about flipping it or anything. And we're going to have negative a, which is 2, over b, which is 5. So our slope is going to be negative 2/5, which makes this c. Okay, remember that this said parallel and not perpendicular, so we're leaving it exactly the same. All right, and anytime you have the equation in ax plus by equals c format, your slope is going to be negative a over b. A being the number in front of x, b being the number in front of y. Okay, graph parallel to the graph shown. Okay, so we want a parallel line, which means we've got to have the same slope. So just looking at them, we could plot them, whatever, but if we find the slope, then it's going to make our lives a whole lot easier. I'm just going to pick 2 points, any 2 points. How about this one here, and how about this one here? Okay, and I'm going to do my rise. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My rise is 6. So if I go up 6 and then my run, that's 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 over 3, which reduces to 2 over 1, which just reduces to 2. So I want a slope of 2, which means it's going to be the number in front of my x, because the number in front of my x is my slope. So I'm going to look at all these here. This is a slope of 1, so that's not it. That's a slope of negative 1, so that's not it. And here's my slope of 2. C is my answer. Alright. The relationship between the slopes. Okay, first we'll find the slope of line P. I'm going to pick 2 points, one there. The rise, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4, and my run is 1, 2. Negative 4 over 2, which reduces down to negative 2. And the slope of Q, I'm going to pick that point, and how about this one? My rise is 1, 2. And my run is 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives me 1/2. Okay, notice that this and this, one's positive, one's negative, and they have flipped. We have 2 over 1 and 1 over 2. Okay, so the positive and negative are actually flipped. But anyway, they are opposite reciprocals, so that would make it D. They're perpendicular, which means they're opposite reciprocals. Opposite meaning opposite signs, one's positive, one's negative. Reciprocal meaning flipped. Okay, in which quadrants do the coordinates of all satisfy? On a coordinate grid, we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So it starts off like a clock and it actually goes the other way, okay? X is not equal to 0. X is not equal to 0. So that, if x equals 0, that would be right here. So that would be all of this and all of this. And y is greater than 0. That means, okay, here's our y's, and it has to be above 0. So we've got all of these, okay? Which one does it fit in both? In both ways, it's quadrants 1 and 2 only. Okay, if the y was less than 0, it'd be quadrants 3 and 4. but it's greater than 0. Next page. A square is drawn on a coordinate plane. Okay, we're going to stop the recording here.